Earlier this year, President Trump declared war on the coronavirus. War often brings with it extreme conditions, much like what we are now living. Wartime experiences can give us insights into difficulties that we face in our time as well. Let me share an application of that. General John Buford, commander of a Union cavalry force consisting of 2,500 men, sat horseback on a hill located on the Gettysburg Town Cemetery on June 30th, 1863, and watched thousands of Confederate infantry march out of the town. Buford's job to scout for and locate the enemy was now accomplished. Instinctively, Buford recognized that the whole of General Robert E. Lee's Northern Virginia Army was now joined on the outskirts of Gettysburg. Buford also recognized that he now sat on the high ground, and that Lee's army had only one way to pass through the town, and that was below the high ground. Buford also had a choice to make. He could return to the main Union Army base and report on Lee's position, forfeiting the critical strategic advantage of the high ground, which would surely lead to massive casualties to the Union Army and most probably another defeat at the hand of Lee's Confederate forces. Or Buford could stay, dig in, and hold the high ground and hope that Union reinforcements would arrive before his troops were overwhelmed by the tens of thousands of men in the Confederate Army. While Buford contemplated his decision, one thought grew in conviction in his mind. A major battle would be fought over the next few days, and the high ground would make all the difference in deciding the outcome of that battle. Buford chose to stay and fight to hold the high ground. On July 1st, 1863, beginning early in the morning, Confederate forces attacked Buford's positions. Buford and his men repulsed attack after attack all morning. However, by late morning, ammunition was beginning to run low, and the effect of being vastly outnumbered by the enemy was beginning to wear down Buford's men. Buford figured they could hold on to their positions for another half hour and was contemplating a strategic retreat when he sighted the promised relief from the Union Army and General Reynolds and his corps of men moving to him. Buford's choice to stay, to do what he could do, changed the course of the Battle of Gettysburg, and in turn, the ultimate outcome of the Civil War. Buford's choice was a deliberate action to do what he could do, to understand and recognize those things over which he had limited or no control, and to then focus on and do what he could do. While we are not on a battlefield with guns and artillery, we still feel like our normal way of life has exploded, and we are caught in a pressure vise that squeezes us with unrelenting force. Fears of the unknown plague our thoughts, sometimes freezing our ability to move forward. Decisions we were able to make so cleanly just weeks ago now feel labored and difficult. So what do? Buford's experience reminds us of an important lesson that is timeless. Do what we can do. We have to recognize that parts of our life over which we have limited or no control, and then get on with what we can do. So how does this do what you can do apply to investment assets? First, we are in this battle together. We, Cannon Capital Management, and its employees are invested in the same assets you are. Assets that have weathered recessions, political uncertainties, natural disasters, and wars. Always the assets recover. Why? Because underneath the assets we have invested in are people like you and us, people who will not be defeated and who are determined to make life better. People who focus on what they can do and do it. Investing in assets in which people have the ability and the willingness to improve their businesses makes our investments able to withstand enormous pressure and the fears of the unknown and to grow in value. We hold the high ground. Reinforcements are on the way. The United States Federal Reserve Bank is aggressively providing money to our economic system. That money comes in the form of the Federal Reserve buying debt or bonds from the U.S. government, corporations, mortgage lenders, cities, counties, and states, which in turn provide desperately needed liquidity and stability to the credit markets in this uncertain time. The recently passed CARES Act will provide over $2.2 trillion to the U.S. economy. To put that in perspective, the TARP Act, to deal with the 2008 Great Recession, was for a total of $800 billion, an increase of over 3 times what we've done before. Healthcare professionals, scientists, and researchers are working 24/7 to provide treatment, develop new treatments, and over 16 different versions of vaccines are now in various phases of testing. In addition, social distancing is helping slow the spread of the virus, buying us time to figure out how to treat and then to begin moving back to our normal way of life. All of these actions are driven by doing what we can do, one step at a time. Now, because we hold the high ground, it does not make us immune from economic difficulties. It does, however, give us confidence that we will recover and be rewarded for our ability to hold the high ground. As part of holding the high ground, we are making strategic and tactical adjustments to our portfolios, positioning them to take advantage of an economic recovery that we believe will begin to materialize as we progress through this year. We are doing what we can do to take care of your money, to help it weather this storm. Finally, in this time of uncertainty, there is one thing we are certain of. We will emerge from this historic pandemic. We will use the knowledge and experiences gained to better ourselves, and we will move forward, and we will do it together.